Santa Anna's cruel victory at the Alamo. In January 1836, William B. Travis and 30 other Texans entered the Alamo, a Spanish mission in San Antonio. Along with James Bowie, Travis took command of the Texas soldiers at the Alamo. They were determined to stand up to the Mexican army. When Bowie became ill, Travis was in command by himself. Mexican dictator General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna had ordered 3,000 of his best soldiers to set up camp outside the Alamo. The Mexicans blasted bugles and cannons for days to threaten the Texans who were inside the mission. The last defender to have arrived at the Alamo was Gregorio Esparza. Travis and 150 brave men planned ways to hold off the threat. Davy Crockett, James Bonham, and Jim Bowie helped make a battle plan. In the end, women and children were moved to safer areas of the mission. Travis vowed the Texans would fight to victory or death, even though they were outnumbered and starving. The Texans waited for help to arrive, but on the morning of March 6, 1836, they knew that help would not come. The Mexican army attacked with cruel force. More than 1,500 Mexicans died in the battle, but every Texan man was killed. Afterward, Santa Anna burned the bodies of the Texas heroes. Texas Independence Day. While at the Alamo in March 1836, William Travis ordered one of his men to sneak a letter past the Mexican soldiers. He explained the situation at the Alamo to another Texas leader, Sam Houston. He hoped the letter would make it in time for help to be sent. During this time, another group of Texans was discussing freedom from Mexico. They realized the Texans at the Alamo were most likely doomed. They felt the best thing they could do was declare independence from Mexico. On March 1st, the first day of the meeting, 5 men were chosen to write a document to explain the Texans' decision. They wrote the Texas Declaration of Independence overnight, and everyone agreed to it the next day. The document clearly explained that Texas no longer wanted to be a part of Mexico. Texans wanted to be an independent nation. They ended their meeting on March 17, 1836, when the Texans learned that Santa Anna and his men were heading their way. The Texans left with the wish to free themselves from Mexico once and for all. Each year on March 2nd, Texans celebrate Texas Independence Day. Victory for the Texans. After the Battle of the Alamo, Texans suffered another loss when the Mexican army surrounded Colonel James W. Fannon's troops in Goliad. Fannon was forced to surrender, and he agreed his troops would give up weapons and become prisoners of war. Santa Anna had another plan. He ordered the Texans to be killed. Mexican soldiers executed 332 Texans that day. Texans were furious. Major General Sam Houston had only 750 men left in his army. Houston felt his men needed time to rest and train. The men camped on the banks of the Brazos River on an open plain known as San Jacinto. Houston sent scouts to spy on the Mexicans. He learned that Santa Anna and his troops were headed their way for battle. On the morning of April 21st, 1836, 1,200 Mexicans arrived. They settled in and built a barricade, but the Texans didn't attack at first. The Mexicans began to relax. Many of the men took an afternoon nap, including Santa Anna. Houston took this moment to start his surprise attack. The Battle of San Jacinto lasted only 18 minutes. About 650 Mexicans were killed. Only 9 of Houston's men died. Santa Anna was captured the next morning, and the revolution came to an end. The Texans had earned their independence and were free of the Mexicans, at least for the time being.